Good morning, everyone. What is going on? Let's get right to it because we have a serious uptrend here. Might even get a trade set up right away. I'm right off the channel line. We could get a long setup here pretty soon. So on the Nasdaq and the S&P, right away looking for a second entry long. Hey, Exponential, good morning. Looks like we already have our second entry here. Oh, we're not going to go long at the top. We'll wait for a more significant pullback. Morning to those of you who are just popping in. Welcome. Big move up overnight. While we're waiting for this to set up, make sure we have our gap for sure, because this is a big one. Hey, Shaq, good morning. So there's our gap. Also have yesterday's high of day. So those are two important key levels we're going to want to know about. Very rare for us not to visit those after a massive gap up like this. Let's get those going on the Nasdaq as well. Okay, there's gap. Yesterday's high a day. Extend those out. Okay, we got those marked on the Nasdaq. But nevertheless, still waiting for a long setup here. For right now, prices are still within our correction channel, so we don't want to take this bar right away. We're going to need to see one more correction here. Hey, Saif, good morning. So if we can get one little push up here and then test down and then a nice signal bar, we're going to get long. Hopefully this sets up nice. It's very promising. Okay, so there is technically our second entry long, pull back, first entry, pull back, second entry, but we are still within this correction channel, so we're gonna need to wait to see more of a visual second entry long. Over on the Nasdaq, we don't even have a first entry yet. So just one solid move down here. So with FOMC behind us, we don't really have any news today. We should be good there. We're not having to go flat at any specific time. Okay, we might get our chance here. Hey, Valier, sir. What's going on? I'm doing well, doing well. Yeah, we'll see how this bar finishes there. Still have not even had a first entry on the Nasdaq. A little bit concerning for our long here. EMA is not really holding. No bueno. Might be in for a little bit bigger of a correction than we anticipated. Oh, we are going to need to see a higher low confirmation at this point. It could be that this channel has an overshoot. If this just continues to reverse, that might, but pardon me, that might be what we got going on here. You draw it like this, as a small overshoot at the top. We'll see. I'm still leaning toward there being a setup here. Just need to see a push above the EMA and a higher low. Nasdaq pretty much gone straight down here. Not even a first entry yet. Morning to those who are coming in. Welcome, welcome. We're getting right after today. S&P has a chance to test the channel line here. It wants to push above the EMA. Come on, little fella. Looks like this might happen right at the open here. Should be fun. Should be good times. Well, as you are coming in, hey, good morning, Matthew. Be sure to like the stream. We got like 20 folks in here, only 4 likes. Pretty sad, pretty disheartening. That's probably why we're not getting a setup right now. So, for the good of the stock market, for the good of the trades, do it, folks, do it. Really struggling at the EMA here. Yeah, exactly, Matthew. That's why I skipped it. Still inside this short-term channel, but it does look like we now have a micro break, a new low. So this could be where we get a push above the EMA, perhaps a higher low. Meanwhile, the Nasdaq has not even put in one green candle. We're going to need to see something pretty convincing here. Matthew asks, if the trend is still within a wider channel, do you ever worry about it being overextended? For example, the last second entry long was after a large move up. Does a larger move concern you ever? If it's really far away from the EMA, yeah. Yeah, if there's a second entry long that happens way above the EMA, that's pretty concerning for it being overextended, but that's why we have the EMA, so price comes back to it. You can have a lot more confidence, and it really depends on the day, right? If it's just a strong trend throughout the day, kind of just a 45-degree move up for hours, then you can have a lot of confidence in that. But if it's really straight up and down, that's when you have to be concerned. Those kind of impulsive straight up and down moves are what tend to get reversed. But if it's just chugging along at 45 degrees, you're good to go. So those would be a couple clues: the angle of the trend, and then how close it is to the EMA. Always keep in mind that the market can continue going higher and higher, even, a lot longer than you think it can. It's kind of against human nature, right? We see what goes up must come down, but really, zoom out on the entire history of S&P 500, and you're going to see, dang, you can't continue going up. So that's something you have to kind of train your mind out of. Like thinking, oh man, it's been going up for so long, it has to come down. Not necessarily. Could keep going up. Okay, hopefully this is our close above the EMA here. Nasdaq got rejected at the EMA. Didn't even get a first entry. We have a major divergence. I'm not going to trade the ES if the Nasdaq keeps going down. We got about 1.5 minutes to the open here, so it really does seem like the setup could probably happen right on the open, and I'll be here for it. If it sets up, I gotta take it. Need to see a nice close here above the EMA. I don't want to see it rejected, but I kind of got a feeling it will be with how the Nasdaq is continuing to go down. Bummer, look at that. Market is nearly open. Hey Greg, good morning. Thomas, what's going on? Yeah, this might happen quick, folks. Watching the Nasdaq, want to see it have some sort of upward progress here. Then looking for a higher low on the ES. Okay, Nasdaq's above the EMA. That's a good sign. So I will take a higher low on either. Might get another double trade here on the Nasdaq and the S&P. Nasdaq closer, so I'm going to focus on that for a minute. See if that EMA can hold. Nope, no dice. Struggling to hold the EMA there, unfortunately. Not going to be able to take that on the Nasdaq. Meanwhile, the ES already making a new high, so we're going to have to completely reset the count here. Still looking for a second entry long. Still bullish. Although the Nasdaq is now breaking the channel. We'll need to see a failed second entry short on the Nasdaq. If it gets above the EMA, it's looking pretty bleak right now. We got a serious divergence between the two indices. S&P continuing higher, Nasdaq dropping. Man, bummer that didn't set up. That was perfect context for it. Big time divergence for sure. For sure. Got to see the Nasdaq get above the EMA. It's fighting it. Bummer, Greg. Did you take it or did you try? Two visual legs down now. Yep. Totally. Let's see if we can get a failed second entry short. There's the first entry. We don't want to see it to go too high here. We got to hang out right around the EMA. This could be just perfect. And I'd likely have to be quick. This thing is moving fast. Come on, stay right here. Give us one more little entry. All right, let's see how this forms. If the EMA can hold. Not a good sign here. Dadgum is right, Matthew. And Shayak is short. Okay. Still looking for a push above the EMA on the Nasdaq. The S&P is still up in the clouds, so we're not even gonna mess with that right now. Best opportunity could come on NQ if it'll cooperate. They're looking pretty dang heavy so far. Morning, candlestick. I get like a visual failed second entry short on the NAS. Meanwhile, the ES still doing his thing, going up. A little bit of a range kind of looking structure here. Boy, the Nasdaq is just super heavy today. Need to see it start to participate with the S&P so that we can have more confidence in the S&P. Tempting to buy this candle here, but it's going long right into that resistance. All right, well, we're just chopping around there. Yes, looking wonderful. I just wish the Nasdaq would participate, would give us a lot more confidence to take a trade over here. But nevertheless, we're going to be looking for second entry long. Finally, a couple big green candlesticks on the Nasdaq. Hopefully we can get a pullback on the ES here. Give us a chance to enter long. This would be pretty crazy if we get a gap and go on the S&P. I mean, look how far down that... Look how far down the gap is. Got about 50 points. 50 point... Well, yeah. The gap's not 50 points, but we're about 50 points away from the gap. Okay. Getting somewhat of a pullback here. Okay. Testing the EMA now. We'll see what we can get here. Technically have the first entry right here. This is all kind of looking like one leg down. We're going to let it correct. This could be a little bit larger of a correction. We'll see. Nasdaq struggling to get above the high of the day. Missed it by a tick. We're gonna have to let this bearish correction play out a bit here. But this could pick up steam. Again, we have a massive gap below us. So the market could reach for that, especially with the Nasdaq super heavy. Nasdaq has a double top, basically. This point we'll be looking for a failed second entry short above the EMA. Need to let this bearish correction play out first. It might actually get a new low before any of that happens. Matthew says, is it bad trading to look at the chart and think it's overextended, needs a large correction? Is that something I need to ignore in pure price action trading? Let's take a look at the 10K. Now, obviously, we'll see where the EMA is. Again, kind of my answer from before is, look at something like the EMA, see how far away you are from that. On the 10K, you could say, okay, maybe we'll get a correction to the EMA, but I think you do got to get it out of your head that, like, oh man, this is a big move up. It has to reverse massively. Institutions like strength. If the market is grinding higher and it's strong, that's going to encourage buying, especially at the end of the year. All the asset managers want to pad their portfolios. They want a nice end to the year. So if it starts to be buying, that it'll continue to be buying. So yeah, I think in general you don't want to try to think in common sense, like, oh man, this has gone up so high it can't go any higher, or oh man, this has gone so low it can't go any lower. The market, I'm sure you've all heard the saying, or the quote, the market can remain illogical longer than you can remain solvent. So it's best try not to put your common sense into it and just watch what bars are doing. Now, if it reverses massively, then great, it reverses massively, and then you can adapt to that. But to try to predict that beforehand is likely not a good idea. Yeah, you bet, Matthew. You bet. Just my 2 cents, right? Obviously not financial advice or anything, but that's just how I see things. Shayak says, if you're thinking long term, be buying ES every day. For sure. Yeah, for sure. You zoom out large enough, you'll be like, okay, I definitely need to buy. So we have a failed second entry short, but it's below the EMA. So I'm not interested in that. Short actually looks pretty good on the Nasdaq. Coming off of a double top. Nice move down. Break, could see a new low of this. So yeah, second entry short right around this area would look pretty nice, but don't want to try to trade against the S&P, which has been very bullish. And we are getting closer to that EMA on the 10K chart, which could be where we consolidate and then continue higher. Back above the EMA, since the failed second entry short already happened. We'll likely need a second entry long in order to join this move. Andres, hey, good morning, by the way. Andres asks, I already used your coupon for one evaluation. Thank you, appreciate the support. If I use it again for other account, it'll keep 80% recurring forever. Yes. Yes. The sale is going on until for just a few days over the weekend, and any accounts that you get between now and then will be 90% off the first month and then 80% off forever. So yeah, take advantage of that if you're interested. Sorry about the technical difficulties there, Thomas. My Ninja Trader and Apex are doing just fine. I'm not gonna restart my system then, apparently. Morning, Johnny. It's good to know, though. Hopefully that doesn't mean that it'll screw up once I take a trade, but I've had that before where it's completely fine and then you log off and you get issues, or you restart and you get issues. If you trade and close out, it opens opposite orders. Oh gosh. Yikes. Liran, good morning. Sorry, I'm sure I'm not pronouncing your name right, but good to have you in the live stream today. Welcome. Well, it sounds like we are pretty what's the word I'm thinking of? Sounds like everyone's having issues except for me. So hopefully that'll fix itself before I decide to take a trade. This is pretty ugly action here on the S&P. I'm just gonna switch my text to looking for longs. I don't really know what setup we're gonna get here, if we get one. See if we can get a second entry long here. Toad. This looks like a carbon copy of some part yesterday. Dude, that's awesome. Like, the more that you can recognize chart patterns from previous days or whatever, that is great. I've really been trying to improve that skill myself. Like, sometimes people say that, I'm like, man, I don't remember. So I really want to get better at recollecting, like, oh, this is just like the price action from last week. I'm not very good at that yet, so yeah, please share if you can remember what party yesterday this seems like. I would love to hear it. I'm not gonna go check right now. I just realized because we might get a setup here. You can only go back a day. Oh, okay. Well, better than me. Andres asks, if the market is just a projection of our mind, how do you see the market? Whoa, a projection of our mind. That's deep. It's deep. I don't know if the market is a projection of our mind, but it's certainly algorithms, institutional algorithms are certainly coded to take advantage of human psychology. That's for sure. I wouldn't say it's a projection of my mind as an individual, though, or our collective mind. I don't necessarily think that. Just because that, maybe that was true at one point, but everything is driven by high frequency trading and computer algorithms now. That I'm not sure if that's the case. But to kind of touch on your question a bit, Andres, one things that I try to keep in mind to try to stay in the zone is just that the market's going to do whatever it wants, right? You can't predict everything that's going to happen. And so one thing I do is I just really try to not project my desires on the market. Like if I really, like right now, this entire time I've really wanted to see a long setup, right? All through here is waiting for a long, even with this correction, I'm waiting for a long, but it hasn't set up yet. So that's one thing that I try to do is like, okay, even though I really want a long, I really want a certain setup, I'm not going to try to see that setup if it's not there. Just gonna let the bars print, and if it comes, it comes. And if it doesn't, then I just have to sit on my hands. So that's one mentality that helps me stay in the zone, is trading what I see, not what I want to see. Ninja Trader stopped working? Man, this sounds like everyone's having some crazy issues today, which is funny because I'm not having any, and usually I'm the one with technical issues. Oh, probably shouldn't touch anything. I'm gonna look on Apex's Facebook page. Oftentimes when there are issues, they'll post updates and things there. Robin and I are the only ones who are good. I'm not seeing any posts on Apex website about any sort of technical difficulties. Oh, Andres too. Yep. Andres, Robin, and I are the only ones holding it down with technology that works today. Okay, here we go. Just posted in the Facebook, Daryl from Apex did, that we are aware there's a rhythmic outage causing issues, like not being able to close orders. We'll update when the outage is resolved. We will be fixing all accounts impacted. There is no need to submit a ticket. We are aware and committed, like we always do, to fixing all accounts impacted by the outage. Thank you for your patience. So I will say I have found that to be absolutely true with Apex. When there are technical issues, they will, if you have a loss because of it, they will fix that. If you have a win because of it, they'll leave it. So they're super, super good about taking care of people like that when, honestly, they really don't have to. Like, it's a technical issue. they could easily just claim that that's the risk you're taking. But yeah, they'll make it right. Now's the time to go full cowboy. I know, Toad, I know. Oh, that's funny. Go crazy right now, but here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna go crazy, and then there's not gonna be an error on rhythmic, right? You're gonna go nuts on a position, lose, and it's like, oh shoot, there wasn't a technical issue there. That would be just my luck to go nuts and then nothing work out anyway. All right, so we do have a little bit of a structure here, and maybe we can get a second entry, but we've moved up so high. This could be our chance though, and one more pullback, good bar right here, could be the one. Meanwhile, in NQ land, we have a nasty range. What do you know? Shocker, shocker. Okay, so no setup on the Nasdaq, but we could get a second entry long right here on the ES. The NQ on the 2000 tick is just flat with dojis. Oh man. Andres is asking about OCO orders. I would, you know, I think the ATM strategy would count as OCO orders. That's what I would use. That's the easiest, because you can set it up, customize it, make it exactly how you want, and it works just fine. Yeah, this is pretty congested, but we had such a strong move up. Even right now, we're steadily working higher, so I can still consider a long here. It doesn't look like it's necessarily going to set up, but yeah, but I still can consider it. It is congested though, there's no doubt about that. Alright, so getting a bit of a move down here. Oh no, Shayak sold a contract at, where was it, 4,000? I can't see, your message is blocked. About 4,000, can't even close. That's a bummer. That's a bummer. Well, if you're on Apex, they will right the wrongs, so no worries there. Or 304. Great, well, it's working out in your favor, Shayak. I'm still long biased here.
About 60 miles.
Want to see this bearish correction play out, and then hopefully like a failed second entry short or something. So we do have basically 2 legs now, looks like. Could go a little bit farther down in order to get those 2 full legs. But yeah, we still need a new high on the uptrend. I still think that's going to happen. The Nasdaq could keep going down from here. We had this high, break of the channel, expecting a new high, and we had pretty much a double top, and then moving down. This kind of does look like 2 legs back though. This could be, yeah, nearly 2 legs back to the tick. This could be where we bounce. Possible little micro break and new low. And of course, I'm not married to the long side. If this continues down and we get a big bearish move, then I'm gonna have to switch my bias. But for the time being, I think long is our best bet. There's that support across there. Let's see if that holds. Nice. Thomas is back. Cool. I'm seeing on Facebook that it looks like other people are back too, so knock on wood. those technical issues might be over for the time being. Eyeing the possibility of a larger channel over here. Hey Archer, good morning. Archer, oh my gosh, that's a morbid way to start the day, my friend. Matthew says, 2 nice looking legs on the 10K. Let's check that out. Totally, yeah. Right at that EMA. If you're a larger term trader, this is looking like a pretty good second entry long here on the 10,000 tick chart. Two-legged pullback right at the EMA. Nice green bar could take us higher. Yeah, I know, right, Greg? Yeah, exactly. That's the kind of stuff you see on a crime show. Like, I thought he was joking. All right, well, we might get a failed second entry short here. We have our first entry already. I think that second entry long on the 10K is just triggering. Yep. Maybe we can get a failure here to trade. Ooh, our Matthew going for the 10K second entry long. Dang. Wishing you the best on that one. That's awesome. Well, it can't get any more clearer than that, really, Matthew. I mean, that's... You're going to go for a second entry long on the larger time frame. That one is clear as day. Clear as day. You get out already? It's already gone 2 points. Looks like it's already gone 1-to-1. Bounced off order. Okay. Well, I would imagine it's going to get there. Okay, well, it looks like we may have gone too far for the failure. But we might get a little mini second entry long here. Okay, let's see if we can get a second entry long. I would imagine you're out on that one already, Matthew. That's awesome. Glad that worked out. Only one trade so far this week. Dang. Yeah, it's been a tricky week for sure, price action wise. Pivotal moment for the Nasdaq to see if this larger channel ends up being correct. I hope not. I hope we just blow past it. And we get a pullback here on the S&P. Still expecting a new high of this massive trend we have. Get a big trend like this and a break, you expect a new high to be formed. We still have not got that yet, so we still have the opportunity to take a long. And this might be our chance. If we can pull back to the EMA here, get a nice setup, that could take us to a new high. And this is not good news for the S&P, but the Nasdaq bounced off of this larger trend channel. So we continue down. I'll actually consider failed second entry long.
I know it sounds silly, dear, but do it for me, please.
But I think the most high probability setup is on the ES right now. Getting a second entry long here at the EMA. Okay, there's the first entry right there. Hopefully it won't go straight to a new high. Pullback, first entry, want one more pullback right at the EMA and a nice green bar to take long.
I understand perfectly.
I don't really like all these dojis here, but it is what it is. Listen, dude, I have your first entry right here. Get your first entries. Get your first entries. Here we go. New high. Bummer. Well, forget that. That little channel already has a breaking new high, so we got to pause on that long setup. But we still have not reached a new high for the uptrend. So we're still trying, we're looking for an opportunity to go long still. Nice, Nasdaq breaking above this channel. So I think we can safely delete that. Yeah, definitely true, Archer. There's definitely been a lot of first entries that have worked. So hey, you know, be my guest. Start trading the first entries. But no, I think that might be a little bit of hindsight bias because like look back at an area like this. You know, if you're gonna start trading first entries, you know, oh hey, green bar first entry, boom, gets rocked. Or right here. Oh nice, first entry, boom, gets rocked. I think you'd find that, you know, it may seem like it just because setups that you're specifically looking for aren't working out, but oh man, there's our new high. There it is. All right, well, we got a new high on the uptrend. If you took that second entry long on the 10K, shoot, this is, you could ride that sucker this whole way. Pick your scalp at around 2 points or so, whatever 1-to-1 is on this, and then just continue to ride that runner. Yeah, if you can stomach the risk needed to take trades on the 10K, get these big moves. We're gonna have to pause on longs here. We have this big channel break, new high. This is when we could get a correction or just a change in market cycle. It could end up like being just a consolidation or something, but the market will likely rest for a little bit. Now, if it keeps rocketing up, we can start to look for maybe a larger channel or another long opportunity. But for right now, we just want to let things settle, let a bearish correction play out. One thing though is that the Nasdaq still does not have a new high. Maybe we get it there. This is a larger channel. Maybe we get a second entry here. Yeah, Saif, there's been some problems with the rhythmic and apex connections, but no worries, they will right all those wrongs. If you're down, if you're in the red because of it, they will fix it. They've done it before. It's a known problem. Yeah, and they're always really good. Even though they don't have to, they're always really good about fixing those tech errors that cause losses and stuff, and erasing the losses from your account. Melvin, Apex did this intentional. No, I don't think so. There's been a lot of days to profit in the market, a lot of trend days, and that's not happened. It's not even a problem with Apex, it's a problem with Rhythmic, who is just a provider for a lot of different companies. So yeah, it's not even Apex's problem. They're just making it right with their customers anyway. All right, well, Nasdaq does have a bounce off the EMA here. We're gonna be watching this. While the ES is consolidating here. See how this sets up. Now, the index has been quite weak on the day, so this really has to be perfect. Wanted to see a little bit bigger of a bounce on that first entry. Not a great sign that it's going right back to the EMA here. But we'll need to see a higher low confirming a second entry long at this point. Okay, so here's the second entry on the Nasdaq again. I'm going to personally wait for the higher low. Given the Nasdaq's weakness, given the fact that this first entry didn't go anywhere, just immediately reversed, given the fact that the S&P has already made a new high, I just need to see some extra confirmation on this in order to feel good about it. But if you're taking the second entry itself, totally see why. Hey Greg, the balance you are seeing is a 300k eval. that is also copied into my funded accounts. So it started at 300K. I was at whatever it is, 317. And that's taken a month and a half to make 17K in profits. So pretty decent. We're really close to getting that passed and getting it funded. Adding that to my funded accounts. Okay, we need to see this pull back here. Look, that second entry long probably worked already. Depending on how many points you're going for. Yeah, that already worked for 9 points. Bummer. Well, that worked. Not kicking myself for not taking it, though. I think there was a lot of reasons to be a bit cautious there. But if any of y'all got that trade on the Nas, that was yeah, nothing wrong with taking it. Personally, didn't feel comfortable given all the other factors I just mentioned. On the S&P, no signs of slowing down. I had a little consolidation. Now we're continuing higher. Well, seeing if there's any wider pattern to be had here. We continue higher. I mean, you could do something like this. It's pretty wide, pretty crazy, but who knows? I've seen stranger things. Yeah, we're already breaking above that. There is a channel from the FOMC low. Do tell. I'll see if I could spot it on the 10K. No, not that. Okay. Right yonder. Okay. Oh, yeah. Does look pretty dang good. See if we can find that on the 2K chart. Sweet. That's pretty awesome. Good. I feel better about going long if it sets up. See if we can find that on the NAS, if it exists. Wonder if we can connect it from all the way back here. Nope, too wide. Yeah, it doesn't look great on the Nasdaq. Yeah, you're right, Greg. Here we are at a triple top basically on the Nas. Would not be surprised if we turn down here. This thing has been weak all day. Nice. Glad to hear, Saif and Johnny, that you're back in with Ninja Trader. Man, NQ turning down at the triple test. Kind of a bummer for the market overall. I mean, really, if this rally was legit, you would definitely see the Nasdaq leading the way. Keep in mind that this is all the big names, right? This is Apple and Microsoft and Tesla. And if they're not performing well, then it's only a matter of time before the market as a whole follows their lead downwards. On one hand, I would like second entry long to form at the EMA here. On the other, really concerned about the Nasdaq, and if this doesn't start going up and getting past that triple test, I'm going to be very cautious with longs on the S&P. Saif, I wouldn't count on that particularly. In the past, they have, whenever the technical difficulties were, they righted any wrongs within that window, right? So if the tech issues were going down for the first 2 hours of trading, then any losses in that first 2 hours they would eliminate. But I'd be careful about just going crazy the rest of the day, because if it's fixed, they're not necessarily going to erase your losses in normal circumstances. I know you're probably joking, but just want to say that so that's out there. Don't want any terrible surprises. All right, looks like we got a new subscriber just now, Tony. What's up, Tony? You're in the live stream, welcome. If there's anyone else out there watching who's not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing that. Not only do you get to follow just some superb trading content from myself, you also get to participate in the live chat every day, which to me is one of my favorite things about this community. So consider subscribing if you haven't. Saif, I have a few hundreds to go to pass my evals. Nice. Stay strong. You got it. Yeah, don't mess around for sure. For sure. Wishing you the best on that. Hey, thank you, Saif. I appreciate that. That's really good to hear. Oh, looks like we're not getting a pullback on the S&P, not even touching the EMA, making a new high. Meanwhile, Nasdaq still struggling, All right, Nasdaq finally breaking above that triple test. See if this is a legit breakout or a fake. Hopefully we can even widen this channel and look for another long setup here on the Nasdaq. Johnny says, question about drawing another channel on price action that just created an extreme for the previous channel. Tend not to do it because I think reversals what next. Yeah, totally, Johnny. I mean, that has to be your first inclination, right? If you have, I'll go to some blank canvas here. If you have a channel like this and prices are, you know, doing their thing, whatever, and then you have a break and a new high, you definitely don't want to automatically create another channel here, because then when that has a break, you'll be expecting a new high, and then, you know, if you draw a channel on that one, then you're gonna be expecting a new high forever. So yeah, definitely best. Oh, sorry, you can't even see any of that. But yeah, if you're always waiting for a break and then drawing a new channel, you're going to be waiting for a new high forever. I mean, you're going to be really disappointed when it fails. So for sure, your first option is to not draw the second channel, right? Is to wait for the market to reverse, because that's likely what's going to happen. However, when you have such a strong move, that's when you need to reconsider. This has been very strong. There's been basically no pullbacks. So at this point, we are a little cautious because we have made a new high of this larger channel. So we could get a reversal here, but if prices continue to go up, you have to find another structure to trade. So hopefully that makes sense. It's a bit, kind of one of those things you learn with time. Depends on the strength of the trend and whatnot, but yeah. Hey Tony, welcome. Good to have you. No, I trade live. This is a evaluation account, 300K evaluation account that's almost to the funded stage, and I also have several funded accounts that I trade copy into. So yeah, doing both at the same time. Welcome, glad to have you here. Oh, Greg answered the question for me. Thanks, Greg. Thomas asks, how do you deal with trends like the uptrend that keeps drifting slowly to the right without a clear break? It's a great question. Like this kind of thing, right? You have this trend and kind of has a break and a new high, kind of, but it's just kind of drifting. I think in those circumstances, you just continue to look for it. If you don't have a clear break, continue to widen your channels until it's obvious. But if you keep widening and you get more and more space at the top, it's going to be less and less likely that channel is legit. So it's really, a lot of it is experience and feeling, and watching especially the EMA and how it reacts to price. So if price all of a sudden just comes down, slices past the EMA, doesn't even regard it, comes down here and then tests it again and comes down, then you're going to know, okay, we're not expecting a new high on this channel. But if we come down here and the EMA holds, all right, we're probably expecting a new high. So I wish there was more black and white answers, but unfortunately, reading price action isn't always black and white. There's a bit of an art to it. All right, and by no means am I saying that I'm expert chart reader or anything, but just some things I've picked up over time, and I'm trying to get better with myself. Hey Archer, sorry that you're not getting any trades. I know that can definitely be frustrating. So wishing you the best, man. Be encouraged. I know that you've had an amazing streak, so keep that in mind. Like, even if you don't get a trade for a few days, like, you will eventually, right? And if you just keep stacking wins, who cares if it's only like one a week or whatever? That adds up, especially if you're, trading. I know you aren't, but for others that are trading multiple funded accounts, it can really add up. And even if you're just in your live account, like it all adds up in the end. So definitely frustrating, but wishing you the best, and hopefully see you tomorrow. We are really looking for any chance to go long here. This is definitely a strong runaway grinding trend. You want to try to get long in this thing. Actually, one of the hardest patterns to trade for me, because setups will look sketchy. You know, you're gonna get a second entry long, maybe not quite at the EMA, or something like that, but you got to take it anyway. And the Nasdaq is holding a new high, so that's a good sign there. Might get a second entry on the Nas too. Later, Greg. Have a good one. We get any sort of pullback to the EMA on the S&P, I'm gonna have to buy it. If we get close there, it might look sketchy, but I think I'm gonna have to force myself to buy it. Also watching the Nasdaq could get a nice little second entry here. Would be the second entry long on the Nasdaq. It is at the trend channel, but it's not at the EMA or anything. There we go. So this is kind of do or die on NQ. If this starts to take a dive, it could take the ES with it. That's kind of been the Achilles heel of the market all day, is all these tech stocks, very weak. Okay, we're back into the range on the Nas, so need to start having some caution here. But let's see how that EMA holds. S&P, we're back to the EMA. Nice bounce off of it. That looks wonderful. We get a second entry, I'm gonna have to try to take it. Nice confirmation on the Nasdaq off of the EMA as well. I will consider taking a second entry long on both indices. Could get another double trade, guys. Nasdaq launching up, of course, now it launches. It's gonna reach a new high without us. My oh my. All right, better opportunity on the ES, it looks like. We can get a second entry and it's close. I'm gonna take it. Won't have to be perfect for me here. Jeez Louise, Nasdaq launching up. No setup. We still have a chance on the S&P. We just need a little bit of a pullback. I don't care if it's not all the way to the EMA, just something. Give us something. Need a pullback, baby. Let's go. All right, let's see how the second entry long looks. Hoping for it to at least touch the EMA. That'd be awesome. That'd be too much to ask here. Gonna have to take it, folks. Too strong of a trend. Not quite touching the EMA, but I think we gotta take it. Don't usually do this. It's kind of out of my comfort zone a little bit. But we're gonna give her a whirl. Might lower my target though. And if this fails, that will solidify my rule following from here on out. I just felt like I had to do it with a strong trend. And maybe it's a bad decision to do that. Just because I've missed out on these kind of trades in the past, just because you know, things not quite at the EMA or whatever, but looks like might actually not work out this time. We'll see. Yep, stopped out on that. So, okay. I will forever from here on out follow the rules even in a strong trend. Let's see how this next bar finishes though. The three-legged pullback. Wish this would have ticked lower already. And if we do get a tick lower and then a nice bull bar, I'm gonna have to get in on that. Come on, one tick lower, baby. One tick in reverse. Let's go. Okay, let's see reverse. Nope, no dice. Back below the EMA. That's a strong move here. We'll see. We'll see. Still has a chance. All right, so back below the EMA, no dice here, and this confirms my resolve that I will continue to follow the rules of having signal bars at the EMA, even in a strong trend. So, yeah, that's a bit of like, hey man, I've missed out on this kind of stuff before because the setup wasn't perfect, so I don't want to miss out this time. So I guess it was FOMO. It was FOMO. So no more. We're going back to the rules. If the setup is not at the EMA, I'm not going to take it. And now we just need to see a higher low above the EMA. Let's get above the EMA. Let's get a higher low. And actually, I'd consider a higher low on the Nasdaq too. We have just now we had a failed second entry short trigger. We can hold that EMA and get a higher low. I'd be interested in another buy there. That weakness on the Nasdaq might finally be catching up to the market here. Woo-wee. Here we go. Big ol' move down. Thomas says, I've watched your videos from a year ago where you recover a loss making almost 4 trades that day. Do you feel like it's more difficult to find setup nowadays? I don't think it's more difficult to find setups than it has been. I just think that I've gotten more selective over time. And that last trade was an exact example of why that is the case. Yeah, normally I'd skip that trade because the signal bar wasn't at the EMA, but I got a little FOMO. Happens to the best of us, because I've seen strong trends before and like sketchy setups work out. So some of that was playing back in my mind, like, man, I've missed out on this stuff before. So no, I don't think it's more difficult to find setups. I think like I've just realized that some of the stuff that I took a year ago, not actually that great, and not as high probability as I'd really like it. So unfortunately, that is how most of us learn, is by actual making the mistake live and going, oh shoot, won't do that again. So what I don't want to do is try to recover that loss, right? That's what I don't want to do. That will end up me taking crappy setups. What I do want to do is just go back to patient mode. Even if we don't get any more setups for the rest of the day, that's fine. I'll wait till tomorrow or the next day, whatever it is. Yes, Melvin, to answer your question, the second entry should touch the EMA. Ideally, like, the body of the candle should be in the EMA. That would be perfect setup wise. So this was not ideal at all. The only reason I took it was because the trend is strong and I thought that might win out. But yeah, otherwise you'd want to see this, the tail for sure going through the EMA, and ideally the body of the candle being on the EMA. That would be perfect. And if that would have happened, take that setup, no problem. Even if it loses, okay, no worries. Okay, we are back above the EMA. I could consider a failed second entry short here. Oh shoot, I'm like way over time. I just realized it's like 20 minutes after I usually stop the stream, so got caught up. I'm gonna get going, but yeah, there's still opportunities here. I would still favor the long side, and we could get a failed second entry short. That could be a great setup. So as always, guys, thank you so much. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Feel free to take advantage of that Apex sale that's only going to be going on for a few more days through the weekend. 90% off evals, 80% off lifetime, forever. And yeah, thank you again. Have a great trading day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Take care.